I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, so real briefly, I'm going to give a little overview and then we'll jump back into it. So I left you guys off last week, ended up fighting 4 goblins that were on the second level of the Hallowed Oak dungeon that we were pursuing 2 goblins from the first level that were guards at the top of the stairs. They ran into more goblins, so apparently the goblins are in the first and second level. The party defeated them. And then we searched the room real quick. We found a chest with some gold. It was 500 silver and 100 gold pieces. There was no gems or gemstones or jewelry or anything of that nature. Nothing cool like that. That was within this loot pile. Earlier in the dungeon, though, we did find some stuff like that. I'll get into that more at the end. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. We're getting ready to do a search roll for if there's any secret rooms, that type of stuff. So let's get into it. All right, so they got a little bit of loot, and they got themselves a goblin prisoner. Stigguth's the only one that's able to speak goblin. Does the goblin speak common? Not all goblins speak goblin. This one speaks a little bit of common. So Bryth's going to pull this one over here and basically tell him under pain of death that if he yells, he will be killed. Edith's going to stand here and be threatening to the room. Osgar will come over here with her to basically hold the middle while Miryn goes around and searches the room. All right, so here's for a quick passive check to see if anything is found. Okay, yes. Let me roll. I'm going to say an unspoken, but I know what it means. Okay, so they find a secret door. Right here. Here's for the wandering encounter. There is no wandering encounter, so this is going to go turn 5, and the normal 4+ will be made. They find the second secret door. That's what the unspoken was where they're going to find the other secret door, and the answer is yes, and that is right there. Over here there's an actual proper door. Is the party going to continue or just back out quietly? Here's for backing out quietly. They are going to back out quietly. They have ventured into the second level, looked around, seen there are goblins, and feel like it's just a good time to leave with the captive they have and maybe get a little bit of information and come back to this later. Are they going to spin a turn and search this room? No. Miryn's passive. All right, well, Miryn finds it anyways, because elves are silly. Right here, this is going to be another one of those you push the brick and it slides and it creates like a diamond-shaped entrance. Are they going to go through this way, or do they feel like it's a bad way to go? They're going to check it out. For better or for worse, right? It opens up into a 10-foot room. Is there any unguarded loot? No. Edith's hearing is back. She is as good as ever. Miryn's going to go into it. Oh, he keeps finding the secret doors. Right here, there is another one of these one-way doors. Are they going to go through this, or are they going to stay where they're at? This is a big thing. You're on a whole different level. You go through that, and that door shuts behind you. You're trapped. They're going to go through it. Will they leave someone at the door? Will they leave the torchbearer at the door? Yes. Okay, your job is to make sure this door does not shut. Let me go ahead and redraw this. So, it goes out like that. It's a long hallway. Goblin is going to go over here. The goblin is trying to talk, potentially. They do not listen to him. Do they want to follow this hallway to where it goes, or realizing it's not something simple, just leave, knowing they can come back? They're going to just leave. Okay, so they go ahead and go back out. They're going to go back to the floors above. Let me go ahead and draw that. Very interesting. Okay. And then we have this 30 by 10 foot hallway. We have this 10-foot room. All right, I'm going to draw it like that. We'll have Torchbearer come over here. Osgard will come like here. Edith will be here in the middle. Miryn's going to stand over on this side of the door. And just kind of be like listening. They're going to utilize Stigguth, so he'll be right there. Byron will be here. Actually, Edith will go by this door. So Stigguth and Byron will be right here. And they're going to pull the muzzle, the gag, off of the goblin and explain to him his pathway to survival, essentially. And Stigguth will be speaking Goblin to him. Here's for his... that is a terrible failure. The Goblin refuses to speak to the Dwarf. Will the Dwarf be able to... Will the Stigguth be able to allow that? That is... We're counting that as not as cocked on this side. The other side be cocked for sure. So yeah, he'll take this as... Yeah, he knows he's not good with words. Bryth, on the other hand, though, he will give his charisma a chance. He will also fail, just not as spectacularly. So we're going to have a negative on the willingness of this goblin to help. What that means isn't necessarily the goblin won't say nothing. It's just whether it's more of a lie or if there are things that are being left out. What is the first question? Is the first question, how many goblins are there here? Is the question, why are you down there? Who's your leader? Okay, so they're going to ask who your leader is. Will the goblin answer this honestly? No. Will the goblin make a morale? He's obviously lying. He says that his leader is the Emperor God King, and that he is going to smite you all if you do not release him immediately. I don't think the party believes him, and they even give him a check. But that's what he comes up with. Will they ask where the loot is? No, I figure he's going to just lie to him. Will they ask who else is down here? Yes. Will the goblin lie? He won't be completely honest. There's a vermin infestation, and that they routinely practice their combat against these undead. That's how they train, making all their people martial, more martial than you've ever seen a goblin. You haven't run into those goblins yet, but you will. And you need to be afraid. But the undead are endless. They are without number. That there is an item or a spell cast in this area that is so evil that it turns the very living into dead. And we're going to stop that for a little bit of questions as we go to the 6th turn and see if we have any wandering monster. No, we do not. All right, is the party going to continue asking questions or just going to take him out of the dungeon and ask him later when they're not actually inside the dungeon? They're just going to take him with them. They feel like they are far enough in and probably want to get out of here. Are they going to try and find another way into this room? Yeah, if they can. So let's go ahead and draw this next room over here as they maybe look further into it. They did notice that right here there was another door, which they found odd for having such a secure door on the other side of that thing. So let's go ahead and draw the rest of this room at least. 2, 3, 4. Yep. They'll go ahead and gag the goblin back up. They're going to do a listen check. If there's anything in there, the demi-humans would be able to, well, one of them would be able to hear it. Is there anything inside the room? I actually gave it a negative because it's a small room. So the answer is yes and no. Okay. So Miryn's going to step into here. So is Stigguth. This room is filled with goblin refuge, feces, the excrement of many goblins for a long time. It is incredibly gross. This goblin kind of gets a smirk on his face a little bit. However, Miryn sees that there are things in there that apparently have traveled through the digestive tract that might be worth digging out. Is there one that would be willing to do it? So let's look at the personalities real quick. This is the second time we've called for this. We have Stigguth, who's grateful, dogmatic, athletic, and faithful. His fears don't ever really apply to this. His edict and anathema is never trust a gnome, and he will always aid a friend. Osgar is disorganized, reflective, good-natured, and fussy. His phobias don't apply. His edict and anathema is will not live a simple life, but will help the common folk. Edith is cultured, dogmatic, attractive, and careless. Her edict and anathema is will not allow someone to not someone to hurt a child, and can be counted on to do the hard work. Well, you got something there potentially. Bryth is materialistic. That's actually a positive in this situation. So those two will probably go at to see if anyone's willing to do this. Is boorish, aggressive, and impatient. So if you wait long enough, he'll just do it. His edict and anathema is he will never apologize if wrong, and he will aid the helpless. and is willing to die for a friend. Miryn is glamorous, unethical, reckless, and well-rounded. He will never settle down, and he will fight for the suppressed common folk. Okay. And yeah, so let's go ahead and see if Edith will do this. Edith does not want to do this, but she will if she must. Bryth is like, I see what I need to do. I have this. And he passes the reins of the goblin over to Oscar. He rolls up his sleeves, gets his stuff away from all that, and has a fresh, clean... he's going to go with a small bag, and he's going to dig through this refuge to see about getting this stuff while he's collecting coins and whatever else might be here. All right, so is there gold? 10 plus? No. On a 20, there's gemstones. On a 20, there's jewelry. On a 20, there's a magic item. So he does this for silver pieces. There are 400 silver pieces in there, though. I put an asterisk next to that because they got to be washed before anyone's going to want to handle them. He moves the pile from one side to the other, essentially, and makes it so that Miryn could potentially walk around in there a little bit. Will Miryn search this room? I'm actually going to go double negative, so the blue is positive. I'm going to say that Miryn will. I know it says no, but it's not a strong no. They've already found something, then they know this door goes somewhere. It has to be something here, or they have to find another key. And this is the one way for sure you know that is there. So Miryn with the passive, and the passive is enough to do it. He doesn't have to even spend 10 minutes in the room. Perfect. He finds a secret door. And whoa. Alright, let's pull up that room. Okay, so while navigating through all the refuge, the feces and dung and all that type of stuff, and dirty clothes that have been used in there for whatever purpose they might have been used, Miryn is able to notice that one of the walls has a pretty classic, from what he has been able to see so far, secret door. This is another one of those... this is a type 2 door. We haven't run into a type 2. Let me read that real quick. Type 2 is a spring-loaded wall that can shift. In this case, it shifts right. The door will break free and automatically open on its own. It's a little bit tangled up in the mud and gunk, but it does open on its own. And it seems to click in the open position. Okay. What Miryn sees from his position of standing essentially here, right where the monk was, he sees that he is looking at the backside of a chest and a weapons rack that seems to be facing the stone door, which he sees on the other side. There is also hanging on the weapons rack below what would be a weapon. There is a suit of plate mail and a shield that is leaning against it that has some sort of heraldry. So he's going to... is he going to go in or is he going to back out? Going in is positive. He's going to go in, forget having the rogue or the thief do their thing. We have loot, apparently. He's a little reckless, right? Yes, perfect. Fitting his personality. Okay, so he goes in, grabs the armor and pulls it out and the weapon out of the room so that they can access the chest and everything. And keeps it all together, he's strong. He's got 15 strength. So he goes over and sets it over here. Bryth's going to back up a little bit, and so is Stigguth, because he's dragging this armor out. And he's basically going to set it right here. And there's like a weapon that goes across the top of it. And that's a weapon, armor rack. And then after he gets that, he's going to grab the chest and he's going to basically pick it up and carry it and set down the chest over here. That is all there is to this room. Now, one of the things that everyone can see on the armor is the armor has a set of heraldry on it. It's battle worn. It's not brand new. This was someone who wore it, who placed it in there and then never came back, type of thing. The weapon on top is undescribed. Let me go ahead and roll some dice. My newly formed adventurer's book over here. So a 4, 5, or plus will be on the secondary. There's going to be on the secondary chart. So we're going to get a 61. Interesting. So the weapon on top is actually a bow. Okay, so this is a magic bow. I'll go ahead and put the magic bow card up there so you can see what it is. But essentially it gives all arrows fired from it a +1 to hit, but they confer no damage bonus. A magic arrow shot from a magic bow has a +2 chance of hitting. So, powerful. Okay, so that is what it is. Now, we don't know that. We got to figure out who it is. So we have 2 people who would want it. I'm going to go ahead and say that Miryn and Osgard are probably in the top that would want that. We're going to see which one rolls higher. This is for Miryn. Rolls an 8. Pretty impressive. Here is for Osgard. Osgard is a sad panda. So, Miryn, who's reckless, grabs the bow, pulls it back, and launches an arrow to see what happens. Is pleased with the surge of power that he can feel running through the bow, and the bow is not cursed, thankfully. But that could have gone completely a different way. So we now have magic bow. They open the chest and look, I'm assuming. No, they decide we're just taking it out. It's heavy. We got loot already. We have a goblin. It's time to get out of here. We have apparently a magic bow. We're leaving, right? No. What do you want to do? Do you want to search this door on the left? Yes. Okay, well, I guess we're going to push our luck. Excuse me for being rational. Good Lord, PCs. Leave. Don't. You have loot. Leave. I would leave. If I was controlling these characters, if I was in the group and they were doing something like this, I'd be pitching an absolute fit about wanting to leave right now. Like, what are you doing? It is time to get out of here. Okay, so they're going to be like, we've not seen anything but goblins in here. We feel very comfortable with what we're doing. We're going to light new torches. We're going to go a little bit deeper. We have found lots of great loot. We need to really make sure that we don't leave anything on the table. That's their thinking. Okay. Miryn's going to come up and give a listen on this door. No one hears anything. So we don't know what, if anything, is over there. Here's for the open door. Blue is Edith. Luckily, one of the dwarfs was able, or the elf was able to push open the door. Edith failed, her rare failure. Is there anything in there? I don't need to roll for wandering encounter. There is, but let me see if there's any extra loot in there. And there's not. Okay, guys, so once again, we're going to be jumping out in the middle of this dungeon, stepping away for a minute, and we'll have a follow-up video coming up here shortly. There is something in the next room. We'll see how the party does. This fight that's coming up will take longer than I want in this video. We've had a lot of action packed, and we'll go from there. So they have a magic bow. That's pretty awesome. I think that's going to be very useful, especially when they get outside of a dungeon and they actually get some range to be able to use it. Miryn hasn't been able to fire that many shots, and Osgard's been able to fire even less. So when they get outside of here, this bow will be very useful if they're allowed to keep it, per se. Remember, they are being sponsored essentially by a patron. So there is a potential that the patron could be like, the bow kind of just meets the standard of you've paid your debt. We'll have to see which direction the patron goes. This patron is pretty fond of them, it seems, and not a bad guy. And if you're trying to keep people like adventurers going out and doing these things, it probably would make sense to not take away something that would be so valuable to them, especially if you yourself don't need it or use it. So we'll see. We'll roll those dice when it comes to it. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the bell icon, hit subscribe. Make sure you give it a like if you got any value out of this, if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep rolling those dice. Bye.